Hey everyone, Professor Snart here, just checking in as we get right down to the end of our course. So I just want to walk you through a couple of the last steps here. First of all, just a quick reminder, as I was reading through the My Topic discussion board posts, a number of people are still talking about the American Dream and using that term. Just a reminder from my previous video announcement, just avoid using the term the American Dream. It's too sort of cliched and amorphous. It means like so many different things. But it's not the idea that you can't talk about, it's just that phrase I want you to stay away from. In the hopes that in attempting to be a little more specific, you actually can narrow your your thesis or your topic idea, and in fact you might find that despite the fact that you think that a narrower topic would be harder to write about or you'd have less to say, you may find the opposite is true. Sometimes if it's so broad you're not really sure what direction to go and the pieces of the essay don't seem to fit exactly together. So the more narrow focus, and then so avoiding the phrase the American Dream and actually being specific about, if that's an issue of like Willy Loman's conception of what it means to be successful, for example. If you can actually pinpoint what that means for Willy in the play and what he thinks it means and the repercussions from that, you end up with a much more kind of concrete and specific essay, and like I was saying, one that ironically might be easier to write because you're actually dealing in those specifics and you can point to specific moments in the play where this idea is actually happening. So kind of narrowing things down actually helps propel them forward in a strange way. There's also lots of good tips that people were suggesting in the discussion board as far as the benefits of outlining, which some people mentioned they like to write first and then outline, or maybe not outline at all. So even if outlining is kind of new or something that's not part of your normal essay writing routine, they really are beneficial. In fact, even if you do it after you've written a rough draft rather than before, so you can reverse the order of things. But it's really important to sort of piece your essay together like this, and you'll find that especially with longer essays and ones that involve multiple sources, both secondary and primary texts that you're using, it really does save your sanity to make some sort of outline. It doesn't have to be completely fleshed out, but something basic so you're seeing again where ideas are fitting and do they follow logically one from the next. Do you have proof or support, like direct quote, for each of the sort of pieces of your essay? Once you look at an outline form, does the whole thing hold together as an essay? So an outline is just kind of a simpler way of looking at the big picture instead of trying to read through all of the text of your essay over and over and see the whole thing almost in your mind sometimes, which is difficult to do, especially again they get longer, more sources involved, it gets harder and harder to contain in your head, and you can go crazy trying because you have obviously lots of other things going on as the semester closes as well. Okay, so due dates then. We'll take a look here. So yesterday was Thursday, April 29th, so Unit 10, which was the draft and outline, is due, and basically that just means that you're working on your paper, right? You're working on a rough draft, you're putting together an outline, and maybe both of those things are occurring more or less at the same time. So everything is still fairly rough at this point. But we move then into Unit 11. So the first due date is Monday, May 3rd. Again, the 8-week schedule is right around the corner for us. Normally in the 16-week class you'd have twice as long to do all this stuff, so the turnaround is really fast. And this one is really crucial. So this the first part of Unit 11 is asking you to exchange papers for some peer editing. So you may not have a perfectly polished final draft yet, but this sort of forces you hopefully to have something together as a rough draft, hopefully fairly complete, but again it's quick turnaround and there's lots of other things going on as we close this semester, so time management becomes one of the one of the basic components of success at this point. So I'm into Unit 11 here. So the first step is peer editing. There's information on basically what to do here. There's a discussion board set up, so basically you can just connect with your partner. There's a list of groups here and exchange papers. You can exchange through the discussion board, it's easy to do, or if you just wanted to connect differently, through email. If you both happen to be on campus and want to do this face-to-face, you could do that. So the discussion board is set up and the groups are set up here. But if you wanted to actually do the exchanging of papers outside of Blackboard, that's perfectly fine. But do connect with your group through the discussion board to begin with, though. There's also a checklist, some guidelines here to help you in terms of the editing, so basic things to look for. It's pretty standard stuff, is there a clear thesis? Is the author and primary text titles identified in the introduction? Obviously you're avoiding that I voice or that kind of extra layer of reading rather than just making statements directly about the texts. Topic sentences, are those clear in each of the paragraphs? Is there supporting kind of proof for that topic in the form of direct quotation? All this sort of stuff. So you're more than welcome to actually, cut and paste the checklist here and actually provide that to your peer editing partner. But if you just wanted to use it as a guideline, you can also do that. It's easy to blow off peer editing and just say, yeah, it's a great paper, good luck. But try to take it seriously and actually provide some substantial feedback, and hopefully your partner will do the same for you. So if you do have trouble getting in touch with the person that you're paired with, let me know and I can try to put you with a different group or work something else out as well. Okay, so that's the first part of Unit 11, the first due date, which is coming around for Monday, May 3rd. So the second part of Unit 11 is, of course, our very last thing, completing the essay and then submitting it through Blackboard. So the second due date in Unit 11 is May 6th, again, right around the corner next week. Okay, this is all explained then in Unit 11, so I scroll down to the bottom, and basically you're just double checking your essay one last time. Works cited, is it there? All the sources in place, are they appropriate? So not just general web stuff. Check your in-text citation, so all that stuff is correct. And then you're submitting in the normal way through Blackboard. Also be sure you indicate if you want the paper actually returned to you. If not, that's perfectly fine. The grade will be posted through Blackboard this normal way, regardless of whether you want the paper emailed back or not. Some people do, some people don't. There's also a final discussion board, just sort of a final reflection on what you learned in the class. That won't be very difficult at all. So primary focus is obviously getting that essay done. And I'll stress, maybe for the last time, well, probably not for the last time, but one of the last times, I will burden you again with the importance of MLA citation, getting it correct, getting the sources correct for this final paper in English 1102. So the focus on the kind of research aspect is just so crucial. You're showing me that you can find appropriate sources, integrate them effectively into your paper, cite them correctly, build the works cited page correctly, all that stuff. Again, it's artificially inflated, the importance of it, relative to all the other stuff that you're doing as far as the writing of the actual paper, because it's the research course and because our focus is so much on finding and working with sources. So remember, nothing from just the web, regardless of whether it looks like a professional site or a reliable site. You have to use material, if it's online, from the COD databases or from databases. You're also using book sources. So again, focused on the primary text that you're talking about. If it's the play, it's Death of a Salesman. So not just a book about general ideas, right? It has to be focused on the texts that you're talking about. And like I said, one of the last times that I'll harp on that, but maybe not the absolute last. So get ready for probably one more video announcement on that. Okay, so this has been a long one, but lots to cram in then as we finish up the final paper for English 1102. As always, be in touch with me if you have any questions at all, sooner rather than later, since the turnaround is so fast as we close the course.